Here we are again, boys and girls. We are on a fine Tuesday evening. The workday's behind us. Now it's time to and my very special guest.
How's it going? I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you. I don't know what happened when you hit record. I can't really hear you too well right now.
We're having
Oh,
technical.
here we go. Oh, I think I can hear. I heard that.
All right. Okay. We're good now. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying, my friend?
yep. I can hear you now.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do instead of hitting re-record, I'm just gonna start the intro one more time. Okay.
All right.
Here we are, boys and girls. It's a fine Tuesday evening. The workday's behind us, and now it's time to have some fun. This is Stirring a Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Ricky Medeiros. What's up, baby? How you doing?
How's it going? Coming straight from the Dirt City. Got to represent, you know.
Well, first thing, thank you so much for spending the time with us this evening, sir.
Anytime, brother.
So what I've been doing is, I know we've never met personally. I've seen your stuff. I've been to the chop shop and had myself some fun. So I've seen your work and many of the other talent over there. But as I've been doing these interviews, I've been sprinkling in the RI boys and girls, and you are one of them. And I cannot wait to get to know you because again, we've never actually met personally.
Yeah.
Don Kincaid, nice to meet you, my friend.
How's it going? Ricky Medeiros. Nice to meet you too.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you are half of a tag team called Detox. Is that correct?
Detox, yes. One half of the tag team Detox, and then 1/3 of the trio is the Dirt City Murder Crew.
Ooh, that sounds fun too. Uh, we're going to get into all of that, but right now, since we have Mr. Medeiros with us, we're going to kind of focus on that right now.
Alrighty.
First off, because of everything that's going on, your friends, your circle, your family, all of that, you guys are good.
Oh yeah, we're great. How about you?
Uh, we've run into a couple bumps, but we kicked out at two, and we're trying to move forward. You know, my friend.
Yeah, time for the comeback.
So did you start as a singles wrestler?
I did. Well, actually, all right. So, going back to my wee boy days, I kind of broke into the business as a tag team wrestler. Zach Fantastic, also known as Zach Alexander. Him and Mike Montero actually used to tag team. They were the influence, I believe, or the Suicide Kings. But yeah, we actually broke in together, me and him, and then I broke off as a singles guy, and then it was actually a few years ago. I had taken a break, and when I came back, it was just kind of like, hey, you guys are buddies. Like, we're just gonna kind of make you a makeshift tag team real quick, and it was just something that worked.
I've seen now going to your Facebook page and whatnot, yourself, Mr. Divine, and such. I've gone through your photos and kind of just picked a couple things, which I never research anybody. That's my stupidity. I never research anybody. But I just wanted to hit the face page real quick, and I noticed you guys are always all of your pictures are always together. I couldn't find just one picture of Mr. Medeiros, and I couldn't find one picture of Mr. Divine, so I kind of had to take one picture and split
Yeah.
the both of you out of it. And I'm sorry, Mr. Montero, I didn't mean to take you out of the picture. But what I'm driving at is brotherhood. It seems through and through, my friend. Where there's one, there's another. Is that correct?
Always, like we're not just a tag team in wrestling. We're a tag team in real life. We're trios in real life. We're not blood, but those are my brothers. You know what I mean? Like from back in my wee boy days, even though they were already wrestling, like that's been who I've ridden with my entire career from day one till today. It's been the same car. You know.
Uh, did you start because I know you from the Chop Shop.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, well, the Chop Shop 2, if you
Two.
will.
Yeah.
Is that where you started training? Was at the Chop Shop?
Well, no, I started training uh years ago. I've been wrestling since probably like '09.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. Uh, I wrestled. I was trained. I trained with Brickhouse Baker. I trained with JT Dunn. I did all that. But the person who like was my big original teacher was actually Jimmy Hansen, uh, and that was at the original building that T Phoenix got, and that was Bump Factory 1.
Okay. So you've been in the game since '09. Has now I asked this question and it might sound repetitive, but I like to get there's always a different answer. That's why I like to get the knowledge from the talent that we have on there, because if we don't ask these questions, we don't know. We don't get to know our friends here. Now, is the bigger picture, the WWE, the AEW, these higher platforms, has that always been your goal? Or were you like, you know what, I'm going to get into wrestling and I dig me some indie scene and I think I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at?
Um, I mean, the WWE is obviously like the big dream, right? But no, ideally, I don't care where I go. The real dream is to like be able to quit my 9 to 5, be able to support my family. You know, that's the real dream. But yeah, no, I like wrestling where I am, but I do want to progress. Like I said, I want to make a living wrestling.
That seems a little richer to the heart, if you will. Just being able to make a living in the craft that you've been working at so
Yeah,
long,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I've seen you in Rhode Island, obviously, at the Chop Shop too. Is that where you're reside? Because I'm out in Connecticut, so I take the drive up there to go see
Yeah,
you boys.
yeah. That the RWA is where I call home. But me and Jason Devine right now are actually the tag team champions and at NCW, and which runs out of Dedham, and the VFW in Dedham. We're the tag champs there. But yeah, we're all over the place. We were at Live Prov, NCW, where we're the champs. Uh, just pretty much everywhere, anywhere that would let us in.
Nice. And you're always traveling as Detox, correct? That's been your name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Honestly, that was a rib, but it stuck.
Uh, Please share with us, the fans. Is there a little funny story behind that?
It's not really funny. It's like a real life thing. I've had my demons. We
Okay.
They're fought off. That's actually part of the reason why I took that break. And then
Hmm.
as I have a few close knit friends, it was like a little rib on us, but it worked, and here we are today, 4 years later.
It seemed to stick. You've been running the course with Detox. Now, you said your current, where your tag team champions,
NCW,
which stands for.
Northeast Championship Wrestling.
Okay. How long have you been champions there?
Uh, what are we in February? So that's what, like 15 months now.
Wow. I talk about this on the show, Mr. Medeiros. I love character, storyline, and long title reigns. I think long title reigns gets us fans invested in something that really works with the storylines. It kind of all
Yeah,
coincides together.
yeah.
So are you having a grand time, having a nice, healthy, uh, long title run as the tag team champions up there in NCW?
All right. So NCW is like we're one of the most hated heels there. So so I with this COVID stuff, it's we haven't been there in almost a year now, but we have so much heat there that I have so much fun.
Yeah.
Like our music hits, and they're already booing. We don't have to do anything. They hate us,
Yes.
and it's so much fun.
We love to talk character on this show, my friend, because we love to pick the different aspects the different pieces of the puzzle that you have to put together to become a wrestler. There's way too many to just list right down the line. But some of the major ones, and you're speaking of one right now, when you come through that curtain, you give us, the fans, the signals, and obviously you've built a fan base over time. So now that you've been giving the signals and you your music takes off, everybody's booing the piss out of you. You come through the curtain. Are you giving the heat back to the fans as much as the fans are giving to Detox?
Oh yeah. We lay it into them. We're not nice people, you know.
Now, when I'm at the shows, I love to boo me very loud and proud. I love to boo me a heel. Sometimes I get a little carried away, not vulgar wise. So I've kind of, even the referees, I get kicked. Do you know who referee Bill Thompson is by any chance out in our way?
I'm not very good with names. Maybe by face. I'm a terrible name person.
That's quite all right. We started off with a very great relationship as I started going to more shows and more shows, and I started building relationships with the men and women outside of the ring, if you will. And Ref Bill Thompson was one of them, and I thought we had something good going. And one day at a show, he hit me with a kendo stick right in my leg, and ever since then, he hits me with foreign objects. He kicks me, even if he walks by me. My father, he's retired. I take him to all the shows with me. He reminds Ref Bill, hey, you forgot to kick my kid. And I'm like, what the fuck, Dad? What's going on with that? Ref Bill will come over and kick me. But my point being is having that relationship with the fans. Isn't that something that's just, you can't get that nowhere, can you, Mike?
Yeah, no. The wrestling fans, they're the greatest fans of them all. And the best part about wrestling is like wrestling is where they're the only sport where a fan's opinion matters, because in baseball, football, whatever it is, the fans can clap, the fans can boo, they can do whatever they want, and it doesn't affect how the players play. In wrestling, when they clap, they know it's time for the babyface to make their comeback and do so. Their opinion actually matters, and they get involved. It actually gives them a reason to get vested, you know.
You seem, the way you talk, you like that psychology of the story within the ring. You seem very happy and with that passion when you talk wrestling, and I love that about you, Sir. And so you've been in the game since 2009. You've been in tag teams. You've been in a trios, as you've stated. Now the trios is with Mr. Mike Montero. We've had him on the show. We love Mr. Montero. Tell us again what the trios is called.
We're the Dirt City Murder Crew. Speaking of, make a stop down at BigDaddyTees.com.
Yeah.
And support the Dirt City Murder Crew. We have merch on there.
Big Daddy Tees is really starting to bring the merch in there, isn't he?
Man, it's great. You know, T Phoenix. Me and T Phoenix. I love the guy to death now. Honestly, the reason why me and Mike are actually friends goes way back. So me and T back in the day had heat, and it was Zach Fantastic's birthday. So I show up and I'm making my rounds, and like I said, me and him had heat. So I go to shake his hand, and he tried to big league me, and I crushed a pack of cigarettes and I threw it in his face. And but that was the day Mike Montero was like, I like him, you know. But no, honestly, like I said, I've had my demons, and out of all the people, T Phoenix I respect 100%, because he's given me 8, 9, 10 chances, you know, and I have nothing but love and respect for that. I appreciate him a lot. You know, if it wasn't for T Phoenix, I wouldn't be in the wrestling business the way I am, because T gives people opportunities that a lot of other people don't give, you know, and so I got to say thank you to him, you know. Big shout out to T.
I will say, in conversation to any of the talent that I've talked to in the Rhode Island area, within the Chop Shop umbrella, because there was multiple promotions that were running in there, always, and I do mean always, T Phoenix's name is always brought into conversation. Much respect. all of you boys and girls that have ever brought up his name is always give him great thanks and such. So that's just great to hear. I love hearing that stuff, man. Uh, Now, obviously, you had a little bit of heat, and you worked through you worked through your things, became good friends. That's what we love to hear on this show, my friend. We love that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, now, how I got you on the show when I originally reached out, uh, one Jacqueline Sparks tagged you
Yep.
with a
Yep.
couple other of the talent. So not only you have your tag team brotherhood there, but within the chop shop, there's a lot of brotherhood, sisterhood, if you
Yeah.
will. And
Yeah.
Jacqueline Sparks, I've talked to her twice. I love us some Jacqueline Sparks. Uh, Now she's the universe. She's the RICW Universal Champion.
Yep.
Whenever I had her on the first time, that actually twisted my brain because she said Mr. Dozer and her had a really blowout, if you will. So, man, I can't wait to see what's going on with that. And I know I'm bringing up some of the other talent, but I know you're very associated with a
Yeah.
lot of the talent within the Chop Shop too.
Oh yeah.
Um,
The chop shop's like a big family, you know. Um, everybody comes in, you know, and it's like one of those things. Once you come to the chop shop, you don't want to leave because you want to be part of that family. And I like even the people who online I've had disagreements with, whether it's political or whatever, you know. When we get to the chop shop or wherever the next building T gets, whatever it is, you know, that's going to be put in the back seat, and we're going to be friends because at the end of the day, that's what families do, and we're going to go out there and we're going to wrestle, you know.
Now you mentioned NCW, you guys are full blown heels.
Oh yeah,
You seem to enjoy that.
I love it.
Now, are you heel everywhere that you guys work?
Um, Not necessarily, but we don't really change the way we work.
Okay.
We're just those guys, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
we kind of have that like almost like the I don't want to say Eddie vibe, but that you know like we lie, we cheat, we steal, we do what we want, we do what we need to do to get the W. You know.
Hmm. Now, what I'm driving at is I live in Connecticut. I've met so many different, not only wrestlers, but I've met so many fans and I've become friends with over time. Uh, there is a couple ladies that I know personally out of Massachusetts that used to go to Rhode Island, and they love, woo, they love them. Some Mr. Medeiros and Mr. Divine and many other of the talent that's over there. They're formally known, and this may ring a bell. They're formally known as the Radis sisters. Do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are you?
I love both of them.
Now those two, they bring their fandom right to the table, right to the forefront. Uh, that kind of stuff, though, as a wrestler over time and building that fan base, it's got to feel really good, my friend.
Yeah, man. You feel sometimes you know it like makes you feel like a rock star. You know, like and it makes you feel like acknowledge that what you're doing is like you're doing what you're doing is and it's good, you know, because like it's easy to go out there and play wrestler, but when you have people who are behind you and believe in what you're doing and follow you like that, that's what I do it for, you know, like there's no better feeling than that.
Now you just have to follow me because I just jump all over the place.
I'm
Uh,
having a good time, so it
Excellent. Now I'm going to go back to the trio on the face page. As I was following your face page there, I seen a picture back when that whole face app trend was going on, and everybody was looking a tad older than they normally would be. And what I did was I stole a ton of them from all the talents pages that were putting them up, and I put them all together, and I called it the AARP Rumble. And I put everybody's pictures in it, and you guys were included into that mix. Going back to your face page, I seen that picture. That shit really makes me laugh, man.
yeah, That's I forget who did it. It was going around everywhere. It was everybody was getting it, and it was that time period was so funny because oh man, I just wish that was a thing again. Round two.
Yeah, round two. So what are you saying? You want to bring back the old timer look? Is that what's going
Old
on?
man Ricky. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I've done some magic with the Reface app. Maybe instead of that, maybe we could get some Reface trend going on. Maybe I can do a little switcheroo with, say, you and Montero, if you will, or.
Honestly, speaking of switching with me and Montero, that's honestly how we won the belts at NCW. We pulled a little bit of twin magic.
Get the frick out of here!
Yeah, Rip Bison and Perry Von
Ooh,
Vicious.
yes, yes.
They had hit the fin on me, and I powdered, and Mike ruled in, and ended up rolling up Rip Bison 1-2-3, and we won the belts.
Wow. Wow. Rip Bison. Oh, man. And Perry Von Vicious. What a fine tag team they are.
I love wrestling them. I'll wrestle them any day of the week.
Anybody that I've spoken to that has worked with those two talents have always said that. I'll work them any day.
Yeah. I mean, working them is great. You can pull up any match that we've had with them, whether it was 5 minutes or whether it was 20 minutes. And we told a story and we had a good time doing it. You know.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Now, what style of a wrestler would you categorize yourself as?
I don't really have a style. I can do flips. I can strike. And I try and change it up a lot. You know, I try and do different things, so that way it's not the same old stuff just every match. You know.
So you feel you take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and be able to do a variety, maybe like a hybrid, if you will.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now,
You know, I kind of attribute that to like another one who helped me, like who taught me a lot was like Chris Cruz. He's my wrestling grandfather, you could say. You know, he trained Mike Montero, Jason Devine, the Devin Blaze, Tommy Trainwreck, all of them. He trained them, and then those guys helped train me, and Cruz kind of rounded me off, you know. And what he did by training all of us, not only did he train us all different things, he taught us all how to be individuals. You know, we're all trained by the same guy, and if you go look at some places, they pump out the same guy, you know.
I definitely feel that. So, because you want to be able to, and this is part of the puzzle, those pieces we were speaking of. If you don't stand out, how do you, progress and get that fan base going and really push, and not no pun intended, but to push your brand, if you will. So one of the hardest things, though, you have to be your own salesman, your own marketing manager, your own this, your own that. Very, very hard to come up as a wrestler. I think it's one of the hardest things. I mean, because I mean, look at me. I'm built like a fucking candle. I would never get in the ring. I would never do what you guys do. I give you a 1,000,000% credit, and I always will, because I feel you guys got a little screw loose, and that.
I can't tell you you're wrong, but
hey, I got a screw loose too. Ask any of the people that I've met at wrestling; they'll tell you the same shit. But we like to have fun, and that's what wrestling is all about, my friend.
Oh yeah.
Now, as fans, we like to get away from the bullshit. We'd like to take the bills and the arguments that we've had, maybe with the boss or the old lady. We want to get away for a little while. We want to have some fun. And we want to forget shit for a night. Where do we go? We go to wrestling. I do.
Absolutely.
When I go walk through those doors, everything disappears and wrestling is in the forefront. Is that how it is for you?
Absolutely. From the second I walk through that door, the life stops here, and wrestling. Now we're wrestling. You know, whatever's behind that door stays behind that door, and for a few hours, that's a release that nothing else really can give you. Like I haven't. Wrestling has literally saved my life, I guess you could say.
You're not the first person to say that on this show, my friend. That's a fact. Now we take memories with us as fans. Me and my pop. We leave an event. Now, like I said, I'll drive to the chop shop. That's like about 2 hours, 10 minutes from my place.
Yeah.
So we got to ride home. We got to chit chat about something, and it's always about the event. And we start popping for specific moments from
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
said event that we take with us. You guys and girls, you do the same stuff. You're
Oh yeah.
leaving these events. Is there any like really cool special moments? And I know there's a million of them. And I know. Look at you smile. I know. There's a million of them. Uh, but is there maybe a moment that you could share with us that you were leaving an event and you're like, man, that was special tonight. That was just a little bit different than one of those regular nights at wrestling.
Um, I want to say it was 2018, Legacy of 2018. I could Don't quote me on the year. I could be wrong on the year, but we had a War Games style match at the Chop Shop,
Ooh.
and so when I made my entrance, instead of coming through the curtain, I was on top of the bathrooms and I flipped onto everybody, and that moment is like the biggest, loudest pop that I've ever gotten. I felt like the man for the rest. Still, I watched the video back and I still feel it.
Yeah. Now that is something that is always embedded in your mind that you'll never forget. And those are the memories that we talk about on this show. There are so many, and I know when I was building up to that question and I seen that smile, I knew he was like, "Dude, how am I going to answer this?" There's no one specific memory that I could really pull out, but we have so many that we take home with us, and then we bring back to the next events because we're looking for that story to continue.
Yeah.
We're looking for that buildup of what was going on previously. May there be a title, may there be something personal that you're bringing to the table. Storylines when it comes to wrestling. And I'm going to ask you one of those questions again. Do you have a favorite storyline that you're a part of that you like? This build up, this is exactly how I wanted it. This is the finish, the coup de grace is going to be fantastic.
I mean, my favorite one is the one we're working on right now in Proven Ground. Uh, me and my partner Mike, we're working on something right now, and it's not over yet. But the way it's going, I'm enjoying the shit out of it. I'm loving it. So,
Who's your opposition in this rivalry we're talking?
Mike Montero.
Oh, so wait, you and Mike Montero?
Yes, even though we're a trio, there's something going on between us right now, and in the Proven Ground. So.
Shut the front door, really?
Yeah, I mean, on the streets, that's my brother, but in the Proven Ground, sometimes there's something to prove.
Wow.
There could be a little bit of tension right now.
I gotta smoke to that. I mean, wow, you just flipped my wig right there, my friend. Now, Proving Ground, one Todd Graham, he was on our show. He
Yep.
was actually, he stepped in on a fill-in one time because somebody backed out, and it was real early on I want to say a Sunday afternoon, like right at noontime or so. He came on here, and I know that Proving Ground is signed to an IWTV contract,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
Todd Graham, he signed that contract right here on Stirring the Pot, my friend.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Dude, I get chills talking about that shit. It's so cool, man. Okay, so you're a trios with Mike Montero and a different company, a promotion. Now, Improving Ground, you guys got this rivalry thing. Um, why a rivalry between you two when you have this camaraderie going on in the
We're still a trios, even in the Proven Ground.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but like I said, there's something to prove when you step into the ring at the Proven Ground.
At the
And And so far, I haven't proved myself to Mike. Mike stuck his neck out for me. So there might be some tensions because I've kind of stepped down his name. I haven't proved myself for him, you know?
Okay. Now, Mr. Montero has built his career up in that area. And let me tell you, my friend, if there's anyone that gets what they call a pop, is one Mike Montero. Holy shit, is the following behind one Mr. Montero.
He's good, man. He's so good. He he works the hardest out of our crew. He works the hardest. I can't even deny. You know what I mean? He's one of the hardest working people I know. I nothing but love for that kid. I not only do I hope myself, but I hope me and my friends get, like I said, to support ourselves. Look, none of us agree. I mean, like I said, the dub is the dream. The dub is the, hey, we made it to paradise. But if we can support our families and live our lives wrestling, there's nothing better than that, man. And to do it with your friends, that's that's when it gets like
That's the
that's the
bonus.
cherry.
Yeah.
That's the cherry.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of the Chop Shop too, and the family that resides under that umbrella, I've always said, in that RI scene specifically right there are some characters of characters within those walls. And again, we could go on and on with the name dropping, but you know well more than I do of the names that reside under that Chop Shop 2 umbrella. Who are some? You don't have to go down the whole laundry list, and this is not to
Yes.
slight anybody,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just maybe pick two or three. Who's some of your faves to get in that ring with and work at the Chop Shop?
One of them's gonna have to be Sean Lita. Me and him have some chemistry. Me and him. I don't think that we've ever had a bad match. Um, I like wrestling Jamie Tucker. I love
Oh,
wrestling Jamie Tucker. You
you've
know.
had Jamie. Mhm.
Um, and I always have fun wrestling Dick Lane. He's he's so fun to wrestle. He's a funny guy in real life. I love that kid to death.
Yeah, very creative. That guy
Yes,
is very creative.
yes, he's creative in everything he does. Everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you've spoken some fine talent. They've all actually been on the show. That's amazing. I can't. That's awesome. Uh, but that's what we like to do on this show because this isn't my show, my friend. This is our show, the fans. So we get to learn about our talent, maybe shine a little beacon if we can for the ones that may not do interviews or podcasts or maybe get a reach out there more often than not because everybody wants to get the big names and stuff.
Yeah.
I've always been a guy who wants to stick with the indie scene and give those girls and guys some love that maybe not get as much.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I appreciate the love. I, I miss wrestling. I want to talk to the fans. Here I am.
Absolutely.
I'd love to.
uh, so you mentioned live prov earlier, which has changed into Wrestle Party.
Wrestle Party. Yes, yes, yes. I still call it Live Crowd, but yes,
And
Wrestle Party.
so do I. So do I. I actually have I have the original shirt for live prov. To be honest with you, now that and I'm not again not taking away from any other promotion. You guys and girls, you guys, what fun with the whole. It's very gimmicky, if you
Yes,
will.
yes, yes.
And you guys and girls look like you are having an absolute blast every single time
Oh yeah,
you're at Wrestle Party.
yeah. There's no pressure to like. I'm the type of person. Every match I have, I want to be the best match on the card. I doesn't matter if I'm one or main. I want to have the best match, but there's no pressure. We're there to have fun. We're there to be more gimmicky. Where it's because even the fans aren't wrestling fans there. They're more carny fans, I guess you could say. So like you get to be more animated and involve them a little bit, and
Okay.
it's just fun. It's not, you're not there doing moves to impress a wrestling fan. You're there to interact with people who normally don't watch wrestling. And that's
Yeah,
fun.
because and it's a younger crowd, if you will,
Yep, yep.
like almost kind of like a college
College. Yeah, yeah,
age,
yep,
right kind
yeah.
of thing.
Yep, yep.
Um,
They, I believe the kids at what is that, Brown, right over there.
mhm. Yeah, Brown
If
University.
you have your student ID, you get in for free or whatever. The college is set up with them
That's
or
right.
whatever.
Another cool little thing that they do is they have a live band that jams when you
Yeah,
come out.
yeah,
Isn't that
yeah.
cool,
Oh
dude?
man, it's wicked cool. They play everybody's music live. Like granted, it's not your music, but it's
No.
a live band playing. It's
Yeah.
just a good time all around. I love that's like probably the most laid back, relaxed, have a good time places to wrestle.
Now, when it comes to that band scenario, and I've never asked this question, but it's always got my curiosity, and I don't know why I've never asked this. But when the band is playing your entrance theme, and I know they play like familiar rock songs, if you will, coming out to maybe like a a lit song or something like that, are you guys saying, hey, do you know this song by any chance? Could I come out to this song? Or how is that kind of built up? Or are
Uh,
they just jamming?
no, usually they just kind of they don't really play like the for entrance music. The live bands don't really play like covers of anything really.
Oh, okay.
They just kind of jam. Like
Okay.
the whatever your gimmick is, they play kind of a jam that would kind of go along with that. And you rock on.
Yeah. Now, we're talking about how the characters are really vibrant in the area in that wrestle party. And I'll give you just an example if I could, because I want to see what you guys are doing. Now, I've had Isana on, the suplex queen there, the queen of the suplexes. However, it said, please don't hurt me, Isana. She'll kill me. She was dressed as a cat, if you will. And if I'm not mistaken, one Buff Inc. or Buff Dad himself had a little catnip trying to get her
Yep,
attention and such, right?
yep, yep.
Now, what were you doing to maybe get out of your comfort zone and do a little something different when you were at Wrestle Party?
We so at first we were the pirates. We were
Oh,
gar matey.
I think you're doing good pirate then, right?
Honestly, I was the one cutting the promos while we were the pirates. But no, yeah. So I was the one cutting the promos, and then we kind of changed it up, and we stopped being the gimmicky guys. We were the guys who actually came out in tights, and we became like the wrestlers. We were kind of the heels there too. We're
Oh,
not
wow.
here to be funny. We're here to
Oh,
wrestle.
oh, you must have got booed like an MFer. Holy cow.
Uh, I mean, not really, because I don't think they understood it as heel. I think they actually thought we were just kind of just wrestlers. Like they
Yeah.
didn't understand that we weren't. It wasn't a gimmick.
Yeah. And you, like you said, it's a different crowd.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of why I don't think they understood.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for me, if I see that and I'm in that environment and I see guys come out in tights instead of doing something out of the ordinary, I'm gonna boo the shit. I would have, I would have probably been the only guy that did that if I was standing at that event because there's no seating, correct? It's a standing
yeah, it's
room
a
kind of thing.
stand-in only room. Yeah.
So now you've been in again, and I know now I say this a couple times. You've been in since 2009. We're in 2021. Where do you see yourself, your character moving on from here? And I know it's kind of tough to gauge because we are in at a very odd stage in the
Yeah.
world right now.
Yeah.
But do you see your character evolving, changing, staying the same? Where do you see that going?
I don't know really. Uh, it's kind of hard because like everybody that does have like I do have a character, but my character is just a more extravagant version of myself. Really,
Okay.
I am who I am, and I might show a little bit more for the crowd. Like I'll be like I said a little more extravagant, but it's pretty much who I am. And so that's kind of a tough one.
All right. Now I've heard that with many. It's just myself jumped up for wrestling.
Yeah.
Um, have you ever been something than you are now? Like when you started off, Yes. There's a story. Yes, give it to us, my friend.
Oh,
Give
all
it to
right.
us.
All right. So originally, I used to get call booked from straight off the boat. Uh, I would talk with a
What?
funny. Yeah, I would come straight off the boat. I would talk with a funny Portuguese accent. I was a straight greenhorn. I came out to Mark Dennis. Um,
No way.
yeah,
What was your
yeah.
What was your name?
Still Ricky Medeiros. It was
Oh,
my
okay.
name has been the same. I think when I first broke in for a short period of time, I was Andrew Assassin. But I was when I broke in, I was like 16, 17. So like, I had not a chin hair. Uh, Looked like I could have been like 8 or 9. So they kind of told me, they were like, "What makes you an assassin? You don't even look mean." And that so I changed my name. But yeah. So when we came up with the name, that was my gimmick. Is I was a straight Portuguese, straight off the boat, straight from the other country. Um, and then I was for a little while I was the master of disguise,
Ooh,
and I would
did you wear a mask? Did you wear a
oh
mask?
I would do it all. I would dress up as other wrestlers, like other wrestlers' music would hit, and I'd come out in their gear, or or I'd be like sitting in the crowd with like a funny mustache on, or like I did it all. At one point I was a detective and I had two baseball caps on, one forward, one backwards, so it looked like I had the double brim with
Uh,
the big trench coat.
Now, was this during this Damien Sandow time or previous? Because when he was doing that thing, we were having a
No,
blast.
I came up with that way before that. That happened.
Oh,
I
okay,
was that was at
okay,
the original Chop Shop. That
okay.
was
Oh,
so
three. Okay,
yeah. Um,
that sounds like a lot of
yeah,
fun.
yeah. And for a while I made a lot, like when I first broke into the business, I wanted to make people laugh more so than the rest. I didn't understand where to place the laughs, where to wrestle. And that takes time. But when
Absolutely.
I first broke in, nobody took me serious because I was a hee hee ha ha kind of guy.
Okay.
And then during my transition from that to like the master of disguise, that's kind of where I was learning really where to put the laughs. I knew that the laughs go at the beginning, engage the crowd, get them to laugh, make them remember who you are, and then have a good match, show them what you can do in the ring. And that was kind of like that. The time period where I was the master of disguise is kind of where I started coming into my own, really.
That's the psychology end of the wrestling program. Um, Now you've gone through different teachers, if you will, different trainers to build your craft.
Yep,
Which
yep.
you just don't want to have one. You want to be because there's different experiences that you would learn from one to another. When it comes to the psychology, because I know it's one of the hardest things besides getting your body ready and all of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
The psychology and who really got you going with that?
Uh, Probably the one who's had like the biggest impact on my psychology is probably Mike Montero, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Um, like I said, he's one of the hardest working around, and he's got a pure love for like I love wrestling, but this kid has a love like no other. And he's just always dropping knowledge, always, to people, to anybody who will listen. And you know what? That's one thing I will say about this business is anybody who has advice for you, listen to it, because a lot of people in this business are jerks and not and like I've paid money to sit down and just listen to people. So like it
So
just
you
take the advice while like when people are giving it to you. Listen to what people are telling you. You know what I mean? And that can go for anything, not even just wrestling, but when people are teaching you, make sure you listen, because knowledge is power. If you
Mhm.
don't have the knowledge, you can't change what you're doing to better yourself if you don't know.
Absolutely, because you don't always want to hear. oh, that match was awesome. That match was awesome. That match was awesome. Well, I know it wasn't perfect. I need to get true
Yeah.
feedback, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah. That exactly. You need to just listen when people are, and that's another thing too. Criticisms. You have to be able to take criticisms because nobody, like you said, everybody's human. Nobody's perfect. Everybody knows that they're gonna mess up every sometime at least. So when you hear those criticisms, listen to that because even if I think something's cool, for example, I'm the Cutter Kowalski. I tried using the Tower of London as a finish. Nobody cared, but just because I think it's a cool thing, if nobody else cares, it means nothing. Just because I think something's cool, it doesn't actually mean anything. You need to listen to what other people think, especially in wrestling.
Mhm. Absolutely. That kind of brings me to a point. Now, I've watched an event that was out, I don't know, maybe a few months back. They did something right before it got too cold and they were doing outdoor shows. So it was just before the break of winter, if you will, maybe late fallish. And during that event, there was probably like 8 different matches. And one of them, there was a bunch of big guys,
Yeah,
within
yeah,
said match. Excuse me. And there was like maybe like an arm bar with an Irish whip. Dude comes back, shoulder tackles him. And I know these are basic things, but the way they did it, the crowd really reacted when the guy really went back down on the mat and just put him right back into the arm wringer and started
yeah,
working. Okay. But then you had another instance where there's a guy who's doing flips and stuff and kind of these crazy death defying moves. And he did one, and the the
yeah,
crowd wasn't really reactive.
yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. You know, and if you don't know when and where to place things, it destroys the meaning of the story you're telling. For instance, if I'm wrestling a big guy and he hits 18 moves on me and I decide to kick out at one, what all I did was crush him and make him look super weak. I didn't make myself look good. I made him look bad, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And that's what some people have to understand is you don't have to do much. The shoulder tackle can be a story to tell, and if you do it the right way, something as basic as that can lead to a good storytelling match.
Absolutely. Now, you said you're tag team champions NCW. Do you
Yep.
hold gold anywhere else?
Currently, we are also the RICW tag champs.
Oh, oh wow. So you did mention one Mr. Tucker. So you're familiar with the brand as a collective, I would I would
Yep.
assume, yes.
Yes. We
uh,
um, we actually wrestled them at the last day of Legacy in 2019, and they actually beat us for the belts the second day of
oh,
Legacy, and then at the next RICW show, we won both sets of belts back.
oh wow, wow. So no unification of any sort,
No,
right? Just
no, no. So like pretty much, if you wanted like comparison, it would kind of be like the NXT or whatever to the WWE. RWA would be the big company, and then
okay.
RICW would be like the trainer
Yeah, I got you
type
there.
deal.
Uh, I've been to an RWA Legacy. I was only at one because it's a 2-day event.
Yeah,
And not only is it a 2-day event, but if you add up everything together, there's like 22
yeah,
matches
yeah. It's
in
a
two
lot of
days.
wrestling.
Wow. So I went to the day two, and I want to say it might have been 2018 as well, because it has been a while since I was at the Chop Shop. But man, good times, good shows. I've only been to a couple shows at the Chop Shop, different promotions rather. Always a good time over there.
Yeah,
Nobody, I don't think I've really run into a jackass that kind of, get away, kid, you bother me. Everybody's really cool with their time and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Now, again, we were talking characters, producing some fine talent over there.
Yeah.
You also would have a couple names every so often kind of circulate through.
Yeah.
And now we see a guy like Robbie E. He was kind of almost a regular at one point at the Top Shop. He was
Yeah, he
in
was
and out
there.
of there quite
Yeah, he
often.
was there a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he does the NXT thing. And I love to see the faces that are around our area get lifted up to that platform, that next
Yeah.
step, if you
Anthony
will.
Green, good friend of mine. August Gray. I don't know if I should have
Yeah.
said Anthony Green, but
Yeah.
whichever one.
Please, yeah, please, Uncle Vince, don't monetize me,
Yeah,
please.
right. But yeah, a really good friend of mine. I love that kid. I was honestly talking to him a couple weeks ago. I remember him being a little kid. I was telling him this the other day. I remember him being a little kid, and he would talk shit to me. I had a white pair of shoes back in the day, and he said, "Where do you think you're gonna go with those white shoes? You look like an idiot." And I legitimately back in the day wanted to punch him in the nose because this little kid was pissing me off. But turns out this little kid actually knew better than me, and good for him. I'm so happy for him. I'm so glad he got to live his dream. I'm happy for him.
I just spoke of Mr. Gray a couple of. See, I do so many interviews. I want to say it was maybe Saturday or so, or Sunday, because I done 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and then one last night, one today. So we keep rolling them along. But I
Yeah,
was speaking of Mr. Gray. When they first introduced him in NXT, he was still Anthony Green. He wasn't retro
yeah,
sexual, if you
yeah,
will, but he was still Anthony Green. And then if you noticed, the following show they nixed that and they called him August Gray.
yeah, yeah. That's Vince. I mean, uh,
I'm like, what the fuck? I know it's still AG, but still, what'd you just do
yeah.
to us?
No, I get that, but that's Vince for you. I mean, he's run a business and he's made his money, so he knows what he's doing. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a dude that works at a pizza joint, so me flapping my gums don't mean jack shit.
yeah, for real.
But for real, why take a guy like Tommy End and call him Aleister Black? Fuck with my mind. I can't remember Aleister Black for like 3 fucking months until I can actually remember this name
Right?
because he's always been Tommy End forever. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I apologize.
It's cool.
So the scene when we can do something, whatever they call fucking normal. I don't know what
Yeah,
normal is going to look like. None of us do. But are you going out nowadays? Because there are some promotions that are still running.
yeah.
Are you going out there and still working right now?
I haven't really worked since the pandemic happened. A lot of the places that I work haven't really run, and then the couple times that we have worked, it's like problems come up with the building or whatever, with the rent, and then Baker went back on the what was it, 10 people per building or the mass gathering, so he went back on some rules, so then we couldn't move forward, and it's just been a hassle, and I just hope it gets back to somewhat normal soon, you know. But uh,
Absolutely.
to go along with that, if there are like to the people that are still running, we are willing to work, take drives and do it all, you know.
If anyone's listening besides my dad and his dog, which I hope, if that's
Right,
it,
I'm
yeah.
praying.
Yeah, because I don't know what kind of fan base I actually have. If it, I kid, but anyways,
No, yeah,
if any promoters are watching this, or anybody that knows of the Detox, or the trio,
yeah.
if you will, Dirt City
The
Murder,
Dirt City Murder Crew, the
Dirt,
DCMC, yeah.
Dirt City Murder Crew. If you guys are watching, get them on your show. Take a chance. If you don't know them, bring in some new talent. Let them debut at your company. See what's going down. They're willing to take the drives and do their thing. So,
Appreciate
yeah.
that.
Oh, absolutely. Again, because I have seen you work only a couple times, but we have fun. And I remembered you from the past. And again, I haven't been to the Tap Shop in so long.
Yeah.
Uh, but when you make a mark on a fan, you did something right. And like you say, when you guys come out, you're already getting that heat, so you're doing something right, my friend.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, that's what we live, what we do it for in reality, you know. Because I mean, I'm not gonna come on here and lie to you and tell you that I'm getting fat paid or whatever. You know, I couldn't survive a week for what I make. But you know what? It's fun to go out there and do it for the fans, and it's as much as, like I said, it's my dream to be able to support my family. But it's right now, it's just a nice gesture, like, hey, I went out there and it wasn't for nothing, you know. The fans appreciating what I do, the bookers appreciating what you do, you know, and that's like what it's all about. Yeah.
Absolutely, that gratification. I've done the band thing, and I've always said the same thing. I know we try to get a few bucks to work for that night. If we get shortchanged or whatever, I'll try to work my magic.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't, sometimes you can.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
when you can't, you know what? I was up on that live stage for 3 hours, and I had a mother bleeping blast,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Uh, I've always looked at it that way. I mean, you have to, you
Yeah.
know. Any art form though, it kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
coincides with any art form.
Absolutely.
Now we've spoken. We've had a fine hour with one Ricky Medeiros, my man. Is there anything that we haven't spoken about, or a topic that you would like to bring to the table, or a message to your peers or your fans that we haven't said?
Um, I guess a message to my fans would be: I love you. Don't change a thing. We love you out here in the dirt city. A message to my peers: we might be friends, but just remember, when you standing across the ring from me, we ain't nothing but enemies, and I'm coming for you.
Wow! Oh, with a little jazz at the end of it. Oh, wow!
I
Ricky Medeiros, you've been absolutely fantastic. I cannot
had a
appreciate your time
blast.
enough. Uh, this is Sir in the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Ricky Medeiros. Thank you so much.
Have a good one. Thank you.